So for all you subscribers out there, this month you'll be receiving coffees from this farm, from Jaime and Andres. And besides that, you'll be receiving some Monte Grande from Peru as well. Of course, it's not this specific coffee, since this is just a couple of weeks before you receive your coffees, but it's the same fields and the same processing they'll be going through. You'll be getting a mix of geishas, pink bourbons and caturra, which is a very sweet, delicate and fruity profile and has kind of these light floral aromas to it as well. Very complex coffee, and it's one of my favorites in our menu throughout the year. Last week we visited Peru. We went to Cajamarca in the northern part of Monte Grande. And up there we get a blend of different coffees from around 33 small producers who all produce organic coffees. That coffee is a little bit more kind of balanced, sweet and clean compared to this, less complex, but also just more pleasant and easily, what you would say, it's an easier coffee to drink if you're not used to kind of these acidic fruity coffees. The profile there has a little bit more, I would say, yellow fruits, lower acidity, and a good kind of clean sweetness. Here you have more acidity, more orange, more mandarin, and of course those kind of light floral aromas of orange blossom. De inglés para los clientes. Just finished breakfast, and now the coffees that were picked yesterday needs to be processed. So the way they do it is, they have yesterday they had 3 pickers who were collecting cherries for them, and they collected around 100 kilos of cherries each, and then brought it here to the cherry hopper, where the coffees were floated and sorted for the first time. After that, the coffee is left here to rest overnight, usually around 12-14 hours, but breakfast ran a little long, so we stayed here for 15 hours and we had to rush out and start the pulping process. What we have here is a mix of caturras and pink bourbons and java. The coffee we're receiving is usually mostly geisha, pink bourbon and caturra. From here it goes into the depulper below, where it's of course pulped and sorted. They have kind of a barrel that sorts out the pulp that isn't removed, and like the small leaves and stuff like that. And then it's left down there with all the mucilage on for around 24 hours in a dry fermentation. The day after they move it to another vat where they keep it with water for another 24 hours with a wet fermentation. And after that they wash it around 3-4 times, and it's then moved to the drying beds that are over here. So let's head downstairs and see how everything works down there with the pulping, where the coffees come out, and the fermentation vats as well. So follow me. So here at the Casillas farm, the process of pulping and fermentation happens inside this house. And it actually allows them to control the temperature a little better. It's a little noisy in there, so I'll try to speak up, but if you follow me in here. As you can see in here, the coffee hopper is above and gravity pulls it down through the pulper. Through the back, all the cascara goes there, that's used for fertilizer. And you can see the pulp beans come through here into the barrel where it's sorted, so only the beans that are pulp goes through. And as you can see here, I can pick some of it up. Show you here. This is the pulp coffee. So it's very, slimy. But that's the mucilage, that's the sugar coating that's inside that covers the bean. There's a lot of sweetness and a lot of sugars in there, so that's what we're trying to ferment. That's what we use for the fermentation. And the fermentation is meant to break down that mucilage so we can wash the coffee and then dry it and stop the fermentation process after that. Down here we have the wet fermentation going on, so that coffee is from 2 days ago and it was picked 3 days ago. So picked 3 days ago, left to rest overnight, pulp 24 hours here in this vat, dry fermentation, and then 24 hours here in wet fermentation. And all the stuff that comes out here, that's what we refer to as pasilla, so which is the coffee that aren't fit for export and is meant for the local market. Cool. You can go out back and see all the cascara coming out and kind of some of the natural fertilizer that they produce here. Now we're at the back of the processing house, you could say, and you can see all the pulp coming out here. That's what we refer to as cascara, which is basically just the meat of the fruit. And all this is collected, it's broken down, and it's used for fertilizing the soil up here.
Hay entre 400 y 500.
Ah, vale. Está bien. So, what Jaime just explained here is that the coffee we see here is the geishas, and they just washed it this morning and put it here in the initial drying beds. So just to understand the process a little bit, today is Friday. This coffee was picked on Monday. It was pulped on Tuesday, left to ferment dry until Wednesday. Then from Wednesday to Thursday, it was all of Thursday. It was fermenting with water, and then it was washed this morning, this Friday morning, and then put here. I'll stay here for 3 to 4 days for the initial drying before it's moved upstairs. On this tree is something that's very interesting as well. You can kind of see the different stages, and it's not completely unique, but it's something that's very present here in Colombia, is that there's continuous harvest and there's continuous flowering, continuous fruits developing. And if you come down here and see the branch, you have flower buds here that within the next couple of days will reveal themselves. And further down here you have cherries that will be ready in probably around March, February. See further down here you have flower buds that have already flowered. So in 9 months time or so, around June, these will turn into ripe cherries. And in here you have someone that probably flowered around, I don't know, a few weeks back, and they'll probably be ready around May. So there's this continuous process. And all the while there's also ripe cherries here, ready to be picked. Yeah, so it's a year-round business running coffee farms here in Colombia.